Here.
Arbaugh.
Here.
We are good.
All right. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Troy,
Yes, sir. Yep.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve previous minutes.
I'll second the motion.
Motion approved and seconded. Any objections? Unheard, the motion passes.
No.
All right, let's move on to public hearing. I guess that means you folks.
Well, I guess so.
So, tell us what you want. Tell us what you need.
We, over the last 3 or 4 months, have been building an in-ground swimming pool. And we were using a contractor out of Neenah named Springgetty. So we've got an all like paver pad around it. It's elevated. Our house sits up on a hill, so the pool itself is elevated quite a bit. So when you drive by from the road, there's a retention wall in front of it, and anywhere between 10 feet and about 3 feet. When they put the pool in, Springgetty suggested that we use an automated safety pool cover. And this is an electronic cover that slides over the pool. The rails on the side are put in with concrete. So it is such that, actually the big guy here, he's our neighbor, walked across it. You can have up to 5 people can cross this cover and it won't break. So they talked us into doing that. And I asked him about fencing. I asked our insurance people about the fence. Originally, our insurance people said, well, we think we're going to need to do that. But then we asked our insurance company, and they would rather have the automated pool cover than have a fence. The one thing about the cover that's interesting is that in order to move it, there's a switch that's 20 feet away from the pool that you need to put a passcode in to open it, to open the pool and close it.
Okay.
So it literally is far safer than having a fence. You can't climb over the fence and get in. You can't climb in and get in the water unless we have the pool open.
Okay.
One of the things that they told me, they said that they've only had one municipality that has said no to the pool cover being the only thing they need as opposed to a fence. And a number of municipalities have been kind of working into changing what they're doing. Fox Crossing did it about 1.5 years ago, for instance, for these kinds of things. And so it's one of those things that can only be done on a pool that's going to be in ground and has got very hard sides on it to hold those rails in place. So this isn't something that you would do with an above ground pool or something like that where you're going to have maybe a wooden structure around the pool. This is going to have to be something that's hard and built in at the very beginning, and which it's already there and functioning.
Okay.
So our insurance company would rather have that than the fence. And there's a letter that we had submitted with this that from the insurance company that they had told us that.
Okay. It's an electronic system?
Yes.
What happens if the motor fails? Can you still close it?
Yes, you can manually hand crank it.
Okay.
I see that you have the kind of the overview, like the sketch
Yes.
of the pool area. You can see that there's a pretty substantial retaining wall around the outside of the whole thing.
You're up next to Bill Neal and...
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
are really interested in full
I've
specs.
seen the product.
They're here,
Okay.
but they're,
Long and
I've seen
technical.
the
Yeah.
property, and the pool isn't really conspicuous. It's,
Because it's raised up.
yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things, there's really 2 reasons why we don't really want to do the fence if we can do this. Don't really love the way it's going to look. There's enough going on already, and also the cost, obviously, too, so, being honest.
Fortunately, we also own the lot, so when you're facing the pool, the lot to the left, and you have our house, and then the field up above, so there's not a whole lot of,
We have actually own eight lots surrounding our property.
All right. Any questions from
No. No
Roy?
question.
Any questions?
What's the egress should you close the cover with somebody in there?
There is, I mean, it closes tight. I don't think somebody could crawl up underneath that.
No, but if you accidentally closed the cover while somebody was in there swimming,
I mean,
they would have no way to get out?
They can push up on the cover a little bit, but
Right. There's a little give there, but there's no exit.
much.
There's no, like they have in cars, a
you know,
pull release.
or something.
Yes.
You know.
But the cover's not right at water, I believe it is.
Yeah, actually, down in the middle it is. When you come off the sides, probably about, I'd say 18 inches around the outside goes up into the rails, but the center part sits on the water.
So it would be unfortunate, but not likely to drown someone.
I'd like to think that we'd be a little more careful about that.
one of the things that they absolutely insisted on, the cover company themselves as well, is you have to visibly see the pool. We have it mounted on the side of the pool house, and you visibly
To see the entire pool when you're closing
as
it.
you're closing it.
Okay.
So it's not around the back of
Right.
the
And you have to
structure.
put code in it.
Not in the garage or something.
Right, and we have our own 4-digit code,
Uh-huh.
and there's a certain way you have to enter the code, approve the code, and then do the direction of the pool code. So there's a four-step process.
Okay.
And you're looking at the only 3 people in the whole city that know the code right now.
Roy, any other questions? You have any? You don't have any?
No, I don't have any questions.
I wouldn't mind seeing that code. I wouldn't say public, but at least to the EMS people,
Okay.
Absolutely.
just in case. God forbid.
I totally agree. You want to see how it works? We actually videotaped it for you. Or
Anybody's interested?
I don't need to see it,
No, I don't need to see it. I read your,
but
Way up here.
I would
Yeah.
strongly suggest you briefing the EMS people.
Okay, fair.
All right. Any other questions?
I'll just add, everything was published, letters were sent out. We did receive one email from a neighbor at 612 Sunset Circle, Tyler and Allison Henselin. They have no issue or concern with the request. As parents of young child and dog, we feel safe with the install of a pool safety cover in lieu of meeting the fencing requirements. That is all we received.
Okay. All right, if there's nothing else, I'll close the public hearing.
Okay. Where do we go from here? You gonna let us know?
We'll just vote now.
You can stay. Oh, this is the public discussion. Roy, Steve, any comments?
My niece has this, and she has 5 children under the age of 10, and I'm familiar with the system, and she did it for safety purposes, and I think it's very safe.
Okay. Roy?
I think also it is very safe. Also with that retaining wall, you'd really have a hard time getting to it if you weren't supposed to
Yeah.
the pool anyway.
Also, as I said, it's fairly inconspicuous. You have to know it's there.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I don't see any issues in lieu of a fence having the cover.
I note that the ordinance allows us to approve modifications to the fence requirement as long as they meet the safety requirements intended by the ordinance, and this apparently this clearly
I
does.
think it certainly does, yes.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve or disapprove.
I would just recommend that this board at some point make a recommendation for the common council to review this ordinance and add language to allow this.
All right.
That doesn't have to be, that can be just a recommendation after you decide. That's sort of just probably best practice versus kicking it here where there may be applications that are maybe less appropriate, that you set a precedent, that you're allowing this. Certainly, putting it in the code from a public safety and welfare perspective, which is really more or less the concern here, is probably the best path. But that could be a recommendation after.
Yeah, I gather this is reasonably new technology, or at least postdates the ordinance, so, yeah, I agree.
doubt.
That would be
It's
the way to
a
do
lot
it.
better than the old cable ties were anchored into the ground. Yes.
Yeah. All right,
Decades ahead of it.
Okay, very good.
entertain a motion.
I motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Hearing no objections, it's approved. And we recommend that the council take this under advisement. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Do you have a contact for the EMS that we?
I have his contact.
Okay.
Get a hold of Mitch.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
And
gentlemen.
just tell them what you're up against.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
just, you want to be safe and you say, hey, here's the code to our pool if for chance somebody calls in and we're not around or something.
Okay.
Might have a pool party for the EMS.
That's what I was. Thank you much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
Anybody? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn if you're all done.
Okay, I'll second the motion.
That takes care of it. Woo-hoo!
Thanks all.